If you take a vitamin D supplement, stop. Don't take it tomorrow morning until you watch this video. A study published this month, in May of 2026, in the medical journal Nutrition Reviews, just confirmed that one of the two forms of vitamin D, the form sitting on the shelves of every drugstore in America, is actually lowering the form your body needs the most. After 60, this is the difference between strong bones and a hip fracture. The researchers at the University of Surrey, the John Innes Center, and the Quadram Institute Bioscience pooled the data from multiple randomized controlled trials. The conclusion was not subtle. Vitamin D2 supplements actively reduce vitamin D3 levels in the body. In some patients, the D3 levels dropped lower than in people taking no supplement at all. Read that sentence twice. Taking the wrong form left people worse off than taking nothing. Stay with me, because in the second half of this video, I'll walk you through a 5-step protocol you can start tomorrow morning. Which form to buy. How to read the label so you don't get fooled. The exact dose for adults over 60. The fat-soluble pairing nobody mentions. And the one cofactor, vitamin K2, that decides whether the calcium you absorb goes to your bones or to your arteries. Each step has an exact number. Nothing vague. But first, let's name what's actually happening. Because once you understand the difference between these two forms, everything else falls into place. I'm Dr. Walter Brennan. I've spent over 30 years in clinical practice. And in those 30 years, the single most common preventable problem I see in adults over 60 is silent vitamin D deficiency. According to the National Institutes of Health, the deficiency rate in adults over 60 worldwide ranges from 50% to over 94%. Half of every patient walking through the door over 60, deficient. And most of them are already taking a supplement. So why isn't the supplement working? That's what this study answers. Here's the difference. There are two forms of vitamin D you can buy. Vitamin D2, called ergocalciferol, comes from plants and fungi. It's cheap. It's the form most pharmacies stock as a prescription dose. Vitamin D3, called cholecalciferol, comes from animal sources, and more importantly, it's the form your own body makes when sunlight hits your skin. Until this month, the assumption in clinical medicine was that D2 and D3 were roughly interchangeable. The new meta-analysis says no, they are not interchangeable. D2 actively interferes with D3. The lead researcher, Emily Brown at the University of Surrey, put it directly. Vitamin D2 supplements can actually decrease levels of vitamin D3 in the body. The senior author, Colin Smith, went further. He pointed out that vitamin D3, but not vitamin D2, stimulates the type 1 interferon signaling system in the immune system. That signaling system is your first line of defense against bacteria and viruses. D2 doesn't trigger it. So not only is D2 lowering your D3, it's also missing the immune function that D3 carries. Now let me show you why this matters specifically after 60. 5 reasons, all happening at once. Reason number 1, your skin has lost the ability to make vitamin D efficiently. By age 70, the same amount of sunlight produces roughly 75% less vitamin D than it did at 20. Your skin has the precursor molecule. It just can't process it as well anymore. So supplementation isn't optional after 60. It's the only reliable source, which means the form you choose matters more after 60 than it ever did before. Reason number 2, your kidneys have lost the ability to convert vitamin D into its active form efficiently. The active form is called calcitriol. Healthy kidneys at 30 convert it briskly. Kidneys at 70 convert it slowly. So you need higher starting levels in the blood, higher 25-hydroxy-D, just to end up with the same active calcitriol your body actually uses. If D2 is suppressing your D3, you're starting that conversion process with a lower input than you think. Reason number 3, your gut has lost some of its absorption capacity. Vitamin D is fat-soluble, which means it needs dietary fat to get absorbed. After 60, bile acid production drops. Stomach acid drops. The result is that even when you swallow the pill, less of it crosses into your bloodstream. Estimates from the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism suggest absorption efficiency in adults over 65 can be 30 to 40% lower than in younger adults. That's not the supplement's fault. That's your gut. Reason number 4, vitamin D deficiency at this age does not feel like deficiency. It feels like getting older, tired legs, slower stairs, aches that don't go away, low mood through the winter, memory glitches. These are the everyday signs of low vitamin D, and almost every patient I see attributes them to aging itself. They aren't. They're a deficiency. A deficiency you can correct in 8 to 12 weeks with the right form. Reason number 5, the consequences of deficiency at 60 are not small. 1 in 3 adults over 65 falls every year. That statistic comes from the CDC. Of those falls, 5 to 6% end in fracture. And the single strongest modifiable predictor of fall risk in older adults, modifiable meaning you can change it, is vitamin D status. A meta-analysis published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism in 2024 showed that adequate vitamin D supplementation reduces fall risk in adults over 65 by roughly 19%. That's not minor. That's the difference between living at home and living in assisted care. 5 reasons, all compounding. After 60, this is the supplement that matters most. And if the form is wrong, you are not just neutral, you are actively worse off than untreated. So how do you know if you're taking the wrong form? 3 things to check on your bottle right now. I want you to memorize all 3. Sign number 1, read the back of the bottle. The active ingredient line will say either ergocalciferol or cholecalciferol. Ergocalciferol is D2. Stop taking it. Cholecalciferol is D3. Keep going. Sign number 2, your bottle is from a prescription. Most prescription vitamin D in the United States is D2, ergocalciferol, in 50,000 IU weekly doses. If your doctor prescribed a high-dose vitamin D and didn't specify D3, the pharmacy almost certainly filled D2. Call your doctor's office this week and ask them to switch the prescription to cholecalciferol, the D3 form, at the equivalent dose. Sign number 3. You've been supplementing for over 6 months and you still feel tired, weak, or your last blood test still showed low 25-hydroxy-D. That's the loud signal. You're on the wrong form, or your dose is too low, or both. Get retested before you make the switch so you have a baseline. Now we get to what you came here for. The protocol. Here's the 5-step vitamin D fix. I use a version of this with my own patients. Each step has a specific number. Follow them in order. Tomorrow morning, Step 1, switch to vitamin D3 cholecalciferol. Throw away any bottle that says ergocalciferol. Look for cholecalciferol on the active ingredient line. Most reputable brands now make D3 in soft gel form because D3 is fat-soluble and soft gels carry their own oil base for absorption. Step 2, the right dose for adults over 60. The general baseline supported by the Endocrine Society Clinical Practice Guideline is 1,000 to 2,000 IU per day for adults over 60. If your last 25-hydroxy-D blood test was below 20 nanograms per milliliter, the corrective range goes higher in the 4,000 to 5,000 IU per day range for 8 to 12 weeks, then back to maintenance. Do not exceed 4,000 IU per day long-term without a blood test and your doctor's guidance. The upper safe limit set by the National Academy of Medicine is 4,000 IU daily for chronic use. Step 3, take it with fat. This is the step most people skip. Vitamin D is fat-soluble. Without dietary fat in the same meal, absorption drops by as much as 50%, according to a study in the Journal of the American Osteopathic Association. Take your D3 with breakfast and make sure that breakfast has fat in it. 2 eggs, half an avocado, whole milk yogurt, a spoon of olive oil on your eggs. Any of those work. Step 4, pair with vitamin K2, specifically the MK7 form, at 90 to 180 micrograms. This is the step almost no one mentions. Vitamin D pulls calcium out of your gut and into your blood, but it does not direct that calcium to your bones. That's what K2 does. K2 activates the protein osteocalcin, which places the calcium into the bone matrix. Without K2, the calcium can deposit in soft tissue and arteries instead. Adults over 60 supplementing with D3 alone, no K2, can paradoxically increase arterial calcification. K2 fixes that. Look for MK7 on the label. 90 to 180 micrograms with the D3 dose. Step 5, get a blood test. Ask your doctor for a 25-hydroxy-vitamin D test. It costs roughly $50 without insurance and is covered by most plans. The target range supported by Mayo Clinic proceedings is 30 to 50 nanograms per milliliter. Below 20 is deficient. Below 30 is insufficient. Above 50 you can ease back. Retest 12 weeks after starting the new protocol to confirm your level is climbing. That's the 5-step method. Switch to D3, right dose for your age. With fat. With K2, confirm with a blood test tomorrow morning, in that order. And here's where it gets serious. Because what you don't do is just as important. There are 3 things to avoid. I see all 3 cause harm in my patients. Avoid 1, massive single-dose vitamin D. Some clinicians still give 300,000 to 500,000 IU as a one-time bolus dose. Multiple studies, including a randomized trial in the Journal of the American Medical Association, found high single bolus doses actually increased fall risk in older adults compared to steady daily dosing. Daily small doses beat occasional megadoses. Avoid 2. Taking vitamin D at night. Vitamin D suppresses melatonin production. Multiple sleep clinic observations link evening vitamin D dosing to worsened insomnia in older adults. Take it in the morning with breakfast, not at bedtime. Avoid 3. Assuming sunlight after 60 is enough. It is not. Even 30 minutes of midday sun in the summer produces 75% less vitamin D in skin over 70 than in young skin. Sunscreen blocks almost all D synthesis. Living above the 37th parallel, that's roughly San Francisco northward, means insufficient UVB intensity for half the year. You cannot sunbathe your way out of this deficit after 60. Now here's what to do beyond tomorrow. You need 3 specific questions for your doctor at your next visit. Write them down. Bring them. Question 1. What is my most recent 25-hydroxy vitamin D level, and when was it last tested? Most adults over 60 have never seen this number, even though it's on routine lab panels. Question 2. If you've prescribed vitamin D, did you prescribe ergocalciferol or cholecalciferol? Bring your prescription bottle. If it says ergocalciferol, ask for the switch to D3. Question 3. Should I be supplementing K2 alongside the D3 given my age and cardiovascular risk? That answer will depend on your calcium intake, your kidney function, and any blood thinners you take. But ask the question, let me recap because retention matters when you're going to act on this tomorrow. The May 2026 meta-analysis in Nutrition Reviews confirmed vitamin D2 lowers vitamin D3, the form your body needs. After 60, 5 reasons compound: weaker skin synthesis, weaker kidney conversion, weaker gut absorption, deficiency mimicking aging, and serious consequences including fall and fracture risk. 3 label checks. Ergocalciferol means stop, cholecalciferol means keep going, and reassess if you've supplemented 6 months and still feel tired. 5-step fix tomorrow. Switch to D3, dose 1,000 to 2,000 IU daily for maintenance, take with a fat-containing meal, pair with vitamin K2 MK7 at 90 to 180 micrograms, and get the 25-hydroxy blood test. Avoid megadose boluses, avoid evening dosing, and don't rely on sunlight alone after 60. 3 questions for your doctor. Current level, which form was prescribed, K2 alongside D3. If this video helped you, here's why subscribing matters. I make one of these every Saturday at 9 a.m. Phoenix time, specifically for adults over 60. No fluff, no generic wellness advice. Just the exact piece of physiology you need to act on this week. Hit subscribe and the bell so the next one lands in your feed. And next Saturday, I'm covering one of the silent companion deficiencies that walks hand in hand with low vitamin D in adults over 60, and the 4-minute morning move that corrects it. 3 out of 4 of my patients over 60 have this. Most don't know. I'll see you Saturday at 9.